Welcome to Promob, South Africa. We're going to show you a quick tutorial on how to add a color that isn't already in the program, and then we're going to take it through to cut, and I'll show you how to add it into the cut as well, so that if you've got colors that aren't in the program, you can still use it with our Cut Pro, and obviously also with your rendering. So if you watch on the side where the outline of the mouse is, you'll see what buttons I'm clicking if you need to know. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to bring in a two-door cabinet. I'm just going to drag it down. I'm going to place it. So I've got my cabinet in. Now what I would like to do is add a color. So if I look over here, I'm going to add one of these colors, and we're going to put it into Promob. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to reversed, which is up here, the second icon, which looks like 4 black triangles. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go and open. You'll see I've got one here called bricks. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to say new. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a new category. Okay. So I'm going to say new category. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to say wood, maybe PG. Okay, so I know what I'm looking at. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here, and I'll then find where I've got that. Okay, so once I've found where I've got it, I can then import it into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and import that now. Okay, so let's have a look here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to browse for the file. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to choose, let's choose something that we'll be able to see quite easily. So for instance, let's say I take, let's take one, maybe this one over here. Oh no, let's use Brook Hill. So if I say Brook Hill and I say open, it's going to bring the material in. I can then give it a code, so I'm going to just call it Brook Hill, that. And then the description, I can actually just highlight, copy, and I'm just going to paste that in. So it's Brook Hill. I'm going to change the size. I'm going to change the width to, let's change that to 800. And the height, I'm going to make a meter. Actually, I'm going to make it a meter by 600. I think 600 would be a better size. Let's go back to 600. And down here, you could change the feel of it and everything like that. But for now, I'm going to leave it exactly as it is. And then all I'm going to do is say exit. Okay. So basically what we've done is we've added it like a tile into Promob. So what we can now do is if we go up to our reverse, so if I go right to the end here, I click on there, you'll see now that I've got some of my different ones that we've actually brought in. I've got some bricks and things like that. So I've done bricks the same way. You can bring in floor tiles. You can bring in all sorts of things this way. I'm going to go to the wood. There's the wood, the Brook Hill that we've brought. And then what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm just going to paste it onto the wall. And I'm just going to say individual. And then once it's on the wall, I've got that color. Now, what I can do is now I can take this particular color. When I highlight it, I can now take this and I'm going to add it to the door. So I'm just going to go to the paintbrush, going to choose that color, and now I can add it to the door. Like that. Okay. And then when I come back, I'm finished with the job. I can click on here and I can just delete that. But my doors now on this material is correct. Now, if I go to model, you'll see that the name is still going to be what it originally was, which is fine. We know the Cumbria is the color, but we're going to be using Brook Hill when we go through to the cutting list for the product. So what we can now do is we're going to take this and we're going to send it through now to cutting. So I'm going to come up here, send. I'm going to say yes. It's going to import the new cabinet. There we go. And now if I come down, you'll see that if I go, for instance, to doors, it's still going to give me that Cumbria. And I don't have the Brook Hill in here. So how do I get around that problem? Now we know that the Cumbria is the one that we want to change. So what we're going to do is we can come up here and we can say add new item. This would actually add the item as a cabinet or anything like that. So if we didn't want to do that, what we can then do is come out of this, click here, and I actually just want to remove that item because that's not where you want to actually put it in. Okay, what you want to do is you need to go down to your entries over here. You need to go to panels. Now at the moment, because I've just brought this in as a new product, I don't have a lot of panels in here. If you've been using Cut Pro for a while, you'll find that you'll have a list of all the different types of materials that you've brought in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say add new item. Okay, those are not saved because that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cheat a little bit because I can see this one here. I'm going to highlight it, okay, like this, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to come into this blank area and I'm going to say paste. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to change this to Brook Hill. Okay, and now I'm going to go along and I'm going to check the sizes. So for Brook Hill, we know if I come along here, we know it's PG Bison. So I can put in PG Bison, for instance. Okay, I'm happy with that. I can come down here and I can actually tell it what material it is. So for instance, if I take this, I can actually go here and say 16 mil dot, okay, and then it's going to be Brook Hill. Brook Hill, okay, and I can still put dot MDF or whatever that I want. So I'm just going to keep it the same, like that. And over here, the material, it's going to ask me what it is. So all I'm going to do is just copy this. Copy. And I'm going to put that in there. Like that. And the width, we know, is 2750. So I'm going to put 2750. And the size of the material is 1830. Thickness of the material is 16 mil. And then I can actually put here what the material is. So I'm just going to put MDF and come across here and I can tell it exactly what it is. So it's going to be Brook Hill. And it's asking us, does it have a vein? Yes, it does. Click there. And now I've actually got that saved under my panels. Now, if you need to make an edge for that, you can do the same thing with your edging. So again, we would just go up here, we would say new, and our edging for this will say be 19-1, and I'm going to call this Brook Hill. Okay. I can come across here, it's going to be a PG Bison. Okay. And what I'm actually going to do is I actually want this to be, sorry, 2 mil, not 1 mil. 2 mil, or I can make it 3 mil or 2.5 or whatever that I want, which is fine. Come down here. So on this one, I'm just going to say 19, and it's going to be 2, and the gap will be 5, and then offset will be 2. So I'm just copying what that particular one is there, and over here, I'm just going to call it Brook Hill. Okay. So basically now I've got my edging of 2 mil. And if I need an edging of 1 mil for that same product, I would just do the same thing and just put it as 1 mil. And then you could put it through. Okay. When we go back to the project, now what I can do is I can come along here and I can say, oh, on these doors, so let's just drop these down a little bit so it's easier to see. Where I've got my material there, I can click on the material. I can come down and there's my Brook Hill. So I'm going to click on that. And now it's asking me anything that has got that Cumbria, do you want that to be Brook Hill? I'm going to say yes. And now it'll show me that I've actually changed those items. And now what happens is when I go through to the cutting list, okay, it should bring it up. Okay, I'm just going to say refresh. So when I refresh it, what it's going to do is it's going to bring me the color boards, the 3mm backing board, and also the white. That it was just the general white that we used. So it's trying to bring in the white backing board. This is all because I've pressed it to refresh it. This takes a little bit longer because it's going to double check everything. Okay, so what has happened now is there's my backboard for that cupboard. If I go into my Brookhill, there's my 2 doors, and it's got my 2mm edging on it. All correct, the way we want it. And there's all my plain white panels. When you go down to your purchase list, you'll see now that it has the correct name in. And it also, you can just double check, there's the PG Bison. It's still using the Cumbria because I didn't change it. So this is something that you'll have to do is over here, you see where the edging is, you would have to just tell it that you actually want it to be the Brooklyn edge. So you just take this off, you click on your 2mm edge here so that it knows what it's doing. And then you can just say, on this particular one, it's select all the way around and you'll see it'll say the edging. We say OK, and I'll just check this one. Again, I want to change it from the Cumbria, so I'm going to delete. I'm going to click on that one. We're going to have it all the way around. It's a 2mm edge. It automatically calculates it. On this particular one on the shelf, again, it's just using the standard white. If I wanted that to be this Brooklyn, if I'd put the 1mm in, I could change that to the 1mm. And then everything would be correct for your cutting list and everything like that as well. And also what will happen is on your purchase list, you will then get the correct edging here as well. So it'll list everything for you. I hope this has helped. And it's a way you can add all sorts of materials. So any type of material that you've got that maybe isn't in Promob, you can add it this way so that you can have correct cutting boards, cutting lists with the correct names on it. You can have the correct edging on it. And it's just the easier way of doing it. So from in here, you can do it that way. The other option that you've got, if you wanted to change something, you can go down. One last thing that you might like to know is in the way Promob is set up, if I go onto the material and I click onto the material itself, so I click onto the one door, and I come across to the Tools tab, and I come underneath Properties, and I come under Materials, and I scroll down to the bottom, I've got a section here which is for the real scene. This is for when you're going to do rendering. At the moment, there isn't a profile set for that color on that door. So what I could do is I can go to None, click on that, and now I can set a profile so when I render, my profile color will be done the way that I want it. So for instance, if I went to Wood, I could, for instance, make it oil, wax, high gloss, glazed, standard, semi-gloss, whatever that I wanted for it. And there's a whole list of different ones that you could use here. So I've got standard, I've got satin. So if I click on that one and I say apply finish, when I render, that material will now render as that type of finish. So you can also do that with tiles. You can do it with whatever you want. Use that. So you can go into, like I was saying, floor and walls. When you're in floor and walls, what I could actually do is I could take that material. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to use this floor tile here. I can now click on this floor tile over here. And under properties, if I go to material, it's already set. If you look here, material is set for a glossy medium. But I could go onto my ceramics and I could change it to whatever that I wanted. I hope this video has helped, and I hope it's helped you with the way you could add colors into Promob. and to get your cutting list correct.